Good morning. Let's go back to 1987 and a film called Robocop. Robocop was directed by Paul Verhoeven, written by Edward Neumeier and Michael Miner. Detroit is finally financially broke and overrun by crime. The police department is run by OCP Corporation. A police officer, Alex Murphy, played by Peter Weller, and Anne Lewis, played by Nancy Allen, give chase to an armed gang. Their leader, Clarence Bodicker, played by Kurtwood Smith, and his gang members repeatedly shoot Murphy. Then Bodicker shoots him through the head, leaving him for dead. Anne Lewis gets him to hospital by a helicopter. OCP wants to police the city using robots and has built a law enforcement robot, ED-209. In a demo, it kills one of the executives. Bob Morton, Miguel Ferrer, opportunistically pushes his idea for a cyborg, Robocop. OCP takes Murphy's body and builds Robocop from it. 3 directives are programmed in: serve the public trust, protect the innocent, and uphold the law. 3, perhaps taking a cue from Asimov's robotic laws. Writer Edward Neumeier took the premise of Blade Runner, which was, as far as he was concerned, a cop hunting robots, and imagined what it would be like if it were, instead, a robot cop hunting criminals. Before this, however, he wrote a piece on a robot police officer, not a cyborg, in a corporation-driven world, but this was very incomplete as a story, and it was rejected by studios. In 1984, Neumeier met Michael Miner, a music video director who had been working on a similar idea that he called Supercop, a police officer who had been seriously injured. The characterization of Robocop was influenced by the British comic book Judge Dredd and Marvel's ROM, the latter of which appears in the convenience store robbery scene. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Rutger Hauer were both penciled in to play Robocop. However, they were quite large men, and Peter Weller was chosen because he is slim enough to fit into the heavy, bulky suit without requiring it to be even bigger and move easily in it. Kurtwood Smith was cast against type, usually a nice guy and intellectual, but this time the villain in rimless glasses. Rob Bottin created the Robocop suit. He had just finished the special effects for John Carpenter's The Thing. $1 million budget for the suit made it the most expensive item on the set, although it was actually 6 suits, 3 normal and 3 with damage. Bottin created early sketches making it look speedy and aerodynamic. All the lines should make it look like Robocop is going forward. Verhoeven kept requesting design changes over and over and over. In the end, it looked more or less like Bottin's original design. The suit was originally supposed to be bright blue, but was toned down to a near grey to avoid glare on camera. Peter Weller and Moni Yakim of the movement department of Juilliard worked on a way of moving in such a bulky suit, dancing like a snake. The suit was too cumbersome for that, so they slowed down all the movements. The holster was not part of the suit and was operated by technicians pulling cables to open the holster. ED-209 was stop motion, designed by Craig Hayes and animated by Phil Tippett, who worked on Star Wars. Paul Verhoeven would act out the ED-209 motions himself, as he does. Robocop was originally given an X rating because of the violence, so Verhoeven reduced the gore and blood in some of the scenes and added the fake commercials to distract from the violence, and after 11 X ratings got it down to an R rating. It was released on VHS and Laserdisc in 1988, on Philips CDI video CD in 1994. I had a lot of CDI discs and a player given to me by a Philips PR when I was on magazines. All the discs had bit rotted a few years ago and became unplayable. Robocop the film certainly seems to have been culturally impactful. Thus, a considerable amount has been written about it. It has even suffered from many extensive philosophical interpretations, far too many to be healthy, to my mind. As a joke, in February 2011, Detroit Mayor Dave Bing was asked if there was to be a Robocop statue in his new Detroit proposal. Fundraising raised enough money for a statue. Plans were to unveil it in 2014, but they were cancelled for financial reasons. By late 2022, it was not only complete, but seemed like there may soon be a permanent location for it. In Robocop 2, there is a scene where Robocop has hundreds of new directives uploaded to him. They scroll past very quickly. In the early 90s, I was an art editor on a Game Boy magazine for a while, and we reviewed the Robocop game. I had a high-quality SVHS recorder which could do a perfect freeze frame, which was good for a tape recorder, and also had a True Vision New Vista frame-grabbing board in a Mac. So we hired the film, and I grabbed many frames for it for the DPS of the game as a page background. And while I was doing that, I noticed in the scene with the extra directives that when I stepped through frame by frame, one frame showed Directive 262, avoid Orion meetings, but it was only there for one frame. Orion Pictures was the production and distribution company for Robocop 2, 1990, and they were always wanting script revisions. January 2018, it was announced that Robocop writer Edward Neumeier was writing a sequel to the first Robocop, ignoring Robocop 2 and 3, pretending they didn't exist, and also ignoring the 2014 remake, as though that didn't exist, simply continuing on from the first Robocop. July 2018, it was confirmed as Robocop returns with the original suit. By November 2019, Abe Forsyth was revealed to be the director, replacing Neil Blomkamp. Robocop 1987. Have a superb Friday and weekend. Like and subscribe. Bye.